Welcome to episode number 71 of the BEBC
BS
Podcast. Morning, fellas.
Morning.
Morning.
We're less than a week away.
But we actually have already had football.
We did.
We did?
And we'll talk about that. But first, Alan's not here. Thad's not here.
Oh, how glorious.
So we did a 2-for-1 trade.
Yes, we did.
I think we got a bonus.
We upgraded.
Yep.
2-for-1. And we have with us today the executive director of the Tom Landry Classic, Mr. Kris Cumnock.
Welcome, Kris.
A repeat.
Strobe light.
You're a repeat podcast guy.
Yeah, I think you guys may have made a bad trade, though.
Well, you know what? We'll ask Alan because we're supposed to call. Alan's in Madrid.
He's going to call in.
Oh, nice.
Is he calling in or are we calling him?
He said
He said he was going to call.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
He asked who had an iPhone.
Okay. Well, if he doesn't call in the next 5 or 10
We'll
minutes,
find out.
we'll call him. FaceTime. You got to FaceTime him.
Yep. Are you getting Chris's a nice mug on here?
Yeah, because I
All
lean back.
Cool.
So.
Awesome.
Chris is chilling. He's, and I asked him. I said, "What do you
Way
want to
to
talk
frame
about
it,
today?"
James.
And he said, "I just want to hang with you guys."
Cool.
So
I
you're
don't
like
know
one
why.
of, I'll call 7 people because we all have wives that are willing to do that. So,
Right?
but how many times have you seen our wives on the podcast?
Like once.
Mine's on a lot.
That might
Once.
be a good podcast.
You know,
The wives edition.
I've talked to my wife about that. About you ladies just need to get together and just do a podcast.
Get your
about
wine spritzers and do it.
living with us.
Your Trulies. Everybody get their
There'll
Trulies.
only be 2 show up.
Yeah, there might only be 2. I don't know. James, your wife is very entertaining. She has a lot of fun quips and stuff.
she's got stories.
It's awesome.
Mine only likes to climb up on tables and dance.
Hello. Is this the behind the paywall or in front of the paywall
That one will
conversation?
be on the.
She'd only show up if we weren't here, and somebody has to run the video thing.
Yeah.
That's not true. She likes y'all.
Yeah.
She likes us from a distance.
Yeah. Far
She
distance.
just doesn't care about football anymore.
That is true. Or cheerleading, since she doesn't
Yeah,
have
so,
a
yeah.
cheerleader anymore. Well, guys, we're a week away.
God, I can't wait. It's
Game
been a long
one.
time coming. God.
The Tom Landry Classic, which will feature the Allen Eagles and the Plano East Panthers. Year
Panthers.
2.
Yeah.
You're duh.
Dos.
You know what I'd like to, and I don't
Do.
know, we didn't discuss this last year, I don't think. But did we? The history of the Tom Landry Classic and how it came to be.
Yeah.
We discussed
Absolutely.
Okay, that's
that.
right.
Go back
Yeah,
and
that was the
listen
one
to
you
the-
missed.
You
Let's
might not
discuss
have
the
been.
history of us playing Plano East, though.
There's some history.
Poor Plano East. I mean, they've had some great players
Well,
come through.
I don't think they would claim it's history.
Well,
History can be good, and history can be bad.
Or it could be a total crapshoot.
But from a text I got Friday or Thursday night, someone told me they're better this year.
better than
Oh, who digs?
No,
I
our
did.
guests did. Thank you very much. Whose opinion I
I appreciate
A value.
they went to
I
Highland
value.
Park. They had a scrimmage against Highland Park
Yep.
Thursday night, and Diggs was there.
Well, they,
yep.
And if you read some of his tweets, and then I guess from the information you were gathering, they appear to be better than they were. Did they win a game last year?
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't. But I called. So I was following Diggs.
Yep.
I was over there for a little bit, and then I was following Diggs the rest of the night. And then so I called a couple HP coaches yesterday to say, okay, tell me the real deal. Did you guys back off? You had a lot of hurt players? And they said, no. They said they came out and pushed us around. And they said it's a little concerning for us.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Highland Park's, they're young, but they said these guys are much better this year. They're better coached.
wow.
New defense, new defensive coordinator.
Mhm.
Now, when I said they're better, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to come out and beat Allen or anything. And
Sure.
I don't think they're going to, challenge for the district title. But I do think they're better, and I think he's got it on the right track over there.
Good for him.
He's
Think
a
they'll
good
make
guy.
the
Joey's a good
playoffs.
guy.
Yeah.
But they've got some players. I mean, they've got a couple of offensive skill kids that are really, really.
Rico's still there?
Dave Campbell's has all 3 Plano schools not even making the playoffs.
Which is very possible.
Yeah.
6, 7, 8.
Did Plano sneak in at the last
Yeah, but
game
don't
Yeah,
last
they did.
year?
they have us winning district and Guy are higher ranked. Or is it
No, it's Guyer winning district.
and us higher ranked?
No.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's really weird.
The rankings.
Dave Campbell.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to hear though, because you like something competitive, and there's so much news surrounding Allen this year. To me, there's a lot of unknowns
Sure.
going into this game.
A lot of
And
unknowns.
to hear that Plano East might
There's a
have
lot of
stepped up a
unknowns,
little better.
too, now,
Interesting
I think.
story. Now, my wife is a librarian in Plano, and they have a new PE coach this year, and it happens to be the defensive backs coach from Plano East. He comes over and does PE half the. So she was.
Awesome.
She's like, "Oh, you're from Plano East?" And she told him all about us and everything. So I thought that was pretty funny. So that coach is now at my wife's school. So anyhow, sidebar. So this is year what?
21.
21.
Wow.
21 and
Congratulations.
21.
Yeah, 21.
That's cool.
Should be 22, but taking last year off with COVID, so
Yeah.
so now we go back to 21.
Well, hopefully COVID will.
I'm
We'll-
so
we'll
tired of it.
Stay to the side. San Antonio's having a little bit of
Yeah.
That's the
issues
private
with it.
schools.
Well, and maybe they're just being an abundance of caution, just canceling some scrimmages and stuff like that. 2020 was like the 13th floor of a high-rise building. It just, they don't put it on the elevators. It's just 12, 14.
It was awful, and it'd be good to get back to some sense of normalcy. Is like from what we're back in our seats. The stadium will be full. But if you're any type of common sense person, COVID's still out there. It's not going away, and it's a mess right now. And you just hope and pray we can get the season in, and everybody will stay healthy.
Well, and some of the protocols that they were doing, the pods, so they had the kids in pods, so that if somebody did come down with COVID, you could isolate rather easily. I'm not sure what they're doing this year, but that would maybe keep you from having a total scrap on either game or whatever you're doing. But it's going to be a fun time being in the stadium, being in the seats. And, the band, we got 25 tubas again.
Yay!
So we're getting the tuba count up. Now we just need to have them play them all.
Yeah.
So, that's another story. That's
You
behind
get
the
the
paywall.
77 trombones.
Yeah, that was cool when they did that
Yeah.
many years ago. But
Yeah.
No, what was cool is when we led the band.
that was fun.
We'll see if we can get them to do that auction again.
Yeah. for real. Well, there was a scrimmage Thursday night.
Oh,
Allen traveled over to Hebron, and again,
To the woodshed.
there was a scrimmage an intra-squad scrimmage last Saturday, which gives you some idea of what to look for. But when you go up against somebody else, it's always different.
And the kids always look forward to hitting somebody else.
Yeah.
Right.
And they
Yeah.
hit.
And they
hit
hit
hard.
6:30 Thursday night over at Hawks Stadium.
The woodshed.
The woodshed.
Yeah, the woodshed.
We always love the trains coming by. It's just
Yep.
some of the fun stuff, but
It was a 2-train evening.
new turf. Looked like they had new turf.
they might have new turf.
Sure did look new.
But
Guess they got their bond approved.
stay tuned. Do you know Coach Brazel very well?
A little bit.
Yeah. I still consider him the whiniest coach in Texas high school football. And on a night where there's not a whole lot of people in the stands, there's no bands
It was
playing.
loud.
Oh my
You could
gosh.
hear him.
You
At
could
a
hear him as clear as day.
Yes.
To be wearing out those referees.
Well, he also wore out that one player of his
He
too.
did the kids too, but this poor referee, I was just like,
Rightfully
I cannot
so.
imagine going through a 60-minute game with him in my ear.
Well, we had 11 or 12 refs there because they always do training for
Right.
scrimmages and
Oh.
bringing up some of the new, lower level refs. And maybe he was just helping them out,
You think so?
getting them used to the
Getting used to
season.
yeah. So
Oh,
how
my
many
God.
late hits from the Hebron side the other night?
There were probably 4 or 5 personal foul penalties in the game, and I
Yeah.
think 4
Three of them were on one guy.
well, and 4 of them were probably on them.
Number 17.
Yeah, we had several helmets ripped off. Allen helmets got ripped off, and it was.
Yeah, that's the Hebron Hawks.
A tussle occurred.
We're in the wood, baby.
Kid got sent to the sidelines.
Yeah.
Brazel, we heard everything Brazel said to him.
But it was going to be good to see because you got a new coaching staff, you got a new offense put in, you got a new defense put in, and you're finally playing somebody different. And
Yep.
so you really get to say, okay, what have we got here? And Allen's offense took the field first, and
It was interesting how they did that.
sophomore quarterback Michael Hawkins looks to be the starter. sophomore quarterback, and you bring back memories of the last sophomore we had start. No comparison there. I'm just saying it's been a while since we've had a sophomore quarterback start. So
he's definitely you can from a comprehensive
Spit it out.
We need to let him pick his words. Pick your words properly.
Trying to be as correct as possible.
oh boy,
He's got a grasp of the offense a lot better than the other people in that position.
Well, he's going to have to come up to speed, literally, because the speed of the game, when you're playing these other teams at this level, it's a lot different than JV.
Yep.
And
he'll
get used to it.
I don't think he had a problem with the that he was playing.
To me, he performed well. He's got a strong arm. The out routes,
But he can't throw deep.
Yeah, you keep that up. We'll talk about that. The first play he went to Jordan Tyson deep. Yeah, it was so there. But it's interesting to see something new in different packages and different formations. Although Coach Morris, if you're listening, if you remember our lunch we had with you, the one thing we requested from you, or asked very nicely, I'm not sure how we did it, was do not let the first play from scrimmage be a
Bubble
screen.
And the first play from scrimmage was
Bubble screen.
We about died. We're like, okay, he's just doing that.
Purposely did it.
Yeah, it was all about us. But no, I was just like, you've got to be kidding me. I was like, nothing's changed. Here we go. But it did go for yardage. So, but anyhow, it was just funny to see that happen.
But and they did several more. The same thing, and they just looked kind of vanilla. I mean, they didn't show anything. They're just looking at talent rather than trying to run the ball down the field.
Yeah, the scrimmage isn't about winning. The scrimmage is about
the basics,
being more efficient.
Player combinations, getting used to playing with different people.
Because they played so many kids, which was great. It was good to see. But the one thing that I'm really going to be interested in come Friday night is, okay, we saw everything that could happen. You had the running game, you had the passing game, but you didn't have the quarterback run.
Yeah.
And I think the kid can run.
Yeah.
And that is going to be interesting to watch.
That's the it factor.
Right. Yeah, because that we haven't seen.
Right.
You start running, they blow the whistle in a scrimmage, so it was done.
Which they blew quite early in some cases.
It seemed like they were blowing early in our case, but their case, they would let it play out.
Yeah. So the offense drove down the field. They did not score, but they went, 70 yards or something, and then changed. And they did that, for 15, 20 minutes.
It was timed as opposed to 4 downs and done.
First, second, third string. And then I think what everybody was really anticipating, at least with us,
licking our lips,
was the Allen defense.
Yeah.
Because there's been a lot of change there. New coordinator. We now have a 5-star defensive tackle, which everybody wanted to see.
4-star defensive end.
Sophomore defensive end who isn't even starting, and it was just like, okay, what is all this going to turn into? And so the first play from scrimmage, Mr. Hicks
launches back into the backfield,
blows up his I don't know if the guard
blew him up.
Yeah.
Blew up the running back, and the kid, not the running back, but the guy he blew by got hurt. We all were just like, okay.
Oh my.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And you're just like, play number 1. And there he's already made his presence felt. And you're like, okay, we get it now. Because it has been a long time since Allen, I don't even remember if we've ever had a 5-star defensive lineman. I think Levi was a 4-star.
Levi and Zaricki and
Jernigan was a 3 or 4-star. And so it...
Yeah, 5-star wise,
The talent level it was amazing.
Yeah.
And it was...
For the little bit they were out there.
Yeah, they weren't out there long.
Yeah. And I mean, star ratings,
but we had
coaches were like, we've seen enough.
They did slobber knock, that's for sure.
I mean, we had Nate Bonsu and LaChris Anium, who went to North Texas, and Nate went to, was it Colorado?
Oh, yeah, Nate went to
Colorado. Yeah.
Byron Bonds went
so
to
that was
Baylor.
2008, yeah. And then Byron Bonds was a few years, like 11.
Yeah, but he went to Baylor.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've had some good players, and DJ's just a junior too, so he's here for a while.
When he was third or fourth nationally in the recruiting class?
In defensive tackles, depending how you look at it, he's third or fourth. In Texas, he's the number 1 recruit in 2023.
Yeah,
so
I thought they were counting it nationwide, but regardless,
it's nice to see that.
Yeah, it is.
And the defense as a whole, my perspective all night, and again, we didn't see the ones that much.
Yeah.
But when we did see them, 2 things stuck out to me. One, they're more physical than I think they have been. And 2, the speed.
Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of back. It reminds you of the Naomi Alutu, the Chad Adams, and that kind of raw speed. Jeremy Reeves. It's nice to see.
And so
we gave them their sign.
I was
Sign Shuva. Yeah.
I had something I was going to say. If you remember last week's podcast at the very end, I was emotional because of the Bobby Bowden situation, and I felt that same emotion Friday night when the defense
Oh my gosh.
Because it's
play the violins. Cue the violins. That's awesome.
Because I really loved the 12, 13 years
that was
when that defense
epic
could take over a game and make really good teams look really average.
Yeah.
And I think there's a possibility that could happen again here.
Well, and like you said, the short time that we watched them last night, and again, it was a scrimmage situation, but it looked like it was a fine-tuned machine out there. I mean, the defensive backs were nobody got by them, and when the ball was thrown, they were all looking at the ball coming at them,
which is a change in coaching technique.
Yes.
Yeah.
A welcome change in coaching technique.
It was very interesting, and it's funny because you speak of defensive backs coach. Well, his wife and kids sat right next to me. Coach Cockrell, welcome to Allen. He came from Brandeis.
Got a great family, great wife.
family, Gloria. And I got to tell you one story because it cracked me up.
Yeah.
Their oldest is an 8th grader named Will.
Yep. He's the next head coach at Allen High School.
He coached me up all night long about what the DBs were doing, man. Just like he knew it.
He was awesome.
Yeah,
that's funny.
It was funny. He was telling me. I said, "Man,
But he plays linebacker.
He does play linebacker over at Curtis.
Awesome.
And he loves it. He says he loves playing over there. So they've only been here 2 weeks.
What a great family.
But they have 5 kids, and as we're leaving, Gloria says to me, she goes, "I know you won't remember all my kids' names, but you will remember my little one's name because I don't know how old he is. He's 2, 3.
Yeah.
He ate Cheetos all
Cheeto
night.
man. Cheetos.
Cheetos and Doritos all night." She goes, "He's our 5th kid, and we named him Cinco."
That's awesome.
So that's what they call it. I said, "I will remember that."
Awesome.
So great
Cinco.
family, nice to have them in town. But you did see a change in the approach of the DBs, and so all of that together, it raises that excitement level a little bit. So, and Heber's got 2 very good receivers. They won state 7-on-7, which I know it's a whole different game, but
They found that out during the scrimmage.
they did.
Yes.
There is some talent level that is missing. The one thing I'm really, again, there's a lot of new, but I think the one thing that makes me feel good about this year's team is on the offensive side of the ball is the guys up front. Because you've got 4 returning starters, and I think 3 of the 4, maybe 4 of them
Juniors.
well, no, they're not juniors, but they've all got D1 offers.
Yeah, and all raw district.
Yeah, and so that core being that experienced is going to help all the inexperienced everywhere else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It'll give it time to really gel.
Even though it's a scrimmage, there was some really good run blocking. And there were some nice big holes.
And you've
for
got
Jalen Jenkins to run through, and
varsity runners coming back.
Yeah.
Jalen and Devin. Love both of them. They both run really hard.
Oh, and
Devin's number 20, right?
Their downfield vision was in a scrimmage was still. You're like, oh my god.
There were some
Did
nice
you see
cuts.
Him make him miss?
Yeah, Mr. Jenkins has a lot of. He's a Barry Sanders type kid.
Yes.
He moves through the hole and everything.
There's
He's
a lot
very
of that.
fast.
I can hear Allen this year.
Yeah, exactly. You'll have that on the camera. But there's a lot to look forward to if you're an Eagle fan, because one, it's all new, and it's a whole new bunch of new faces in the skill positions, which you haven't had in a couple of years, and so that'll be fun to watch. And then on the defensive side of the ball, I'd say hang on. I think between Hicks and then Nato's little brother, Zena, is a defensive end. Where's number 93?
We did Thursday.
Did he have 93 on a Thursday?
Yeah.
He may
Well,
be 90.
they switched all the numbers so the
switched all the
jerseys
numbers
up for all the
It
players.
was
so.
93
I
Thursday.
should have brought the roster. I had the roster.
There's our roster, man.
Brought it.
Yeah, we need that before you leave.
Mr. Roster.
That kid, he got offers last week from Florida and LSU.
Yeah.
I know he had a USC offer before that, and
Yeah.
they're just starting to roll it as a sophomore.
Yeah.
But the speed on that kid, have you seen him? Oh my
Wait
word!
till he puts the
between-
size on.
Between him and DJ, I mean, DJ is a quick first step, just
Yep.
absolutely blinding quick first step.
When I first played, I almost had that guy on his back running backwards. You know,
Yeah, he
into the
bull
backfield.
run. Yeah.
Yeah, it
The
was.
guy who was against knew what was coming.
Yeah,
And when your up front guys can play like that, when you've got a very fast speed edge rusher, you've got a bull tackle in the middle,
Yep.
it makes everybody else a whole lot better.
Well, it narrows down the other team's offense.
You know what?
There's only certain things they can do.
And we always we've said this 100 times about Kyler. He'd sit back there and have a scotch and a cigarette because his
Yeah.
offensive line would give him plenty of time. But any quarterback that is pressured, things change real quick.
Yeah.
You know,
And it was evident last night. Not last night, but Thursday night when the defense would get back in their backfield. I mean, there were some times that Hebron quarterback didn't have any time whatsoever, and literally gets the ball hiked to him, and he's automatically having to scramble out and out of the pocket
pressure
because of the
changes
pressure.
everything. Yeah.
Well, and that's the key. You know, Allen has at times had trouble doing contain. You know, on the corners, and so
We've
that's,
had tough times pressuring a quarterback.
well that too. But you know, in terms of containing the corners
Sure.
and you know getting around the edges, it's been a challenge with the DBs. And I watched the one, and it wasn't signed, but it was on the offside, or actually the offensive strong side. DB comes up, the corner comes up, and he's in the backfield making the play. You know, the receiver cut in short.
Yeah.
He recognized the run. Boom. So I love the speed. I love the off players doing that.
Yeah, even though it was a scrimmage, I'm getting the feeling this defense is going to be extremely aggressive throughout the year.
they had that stunt.
Yeah.
That was just like running into a brick wall, you know. And as DJ starts to get double and triple teamed, that's going to open a hole for that linebacker to shoot right up through the middle.
There'll be a lot of that.
But I mean, there is definitely confidence in the secondary this year going into this year, and that just changes the whole mindset of how you can play your defense, and that's what I'm excited to see.
We were informed that Branscombe would be.
Well, he's always been an aggressive type.
Yeah.
So I'm real excited to see him with this.
Wait. Let me write that
You have
down.
a seizure over there? Or what?
9:23 on Saturday.
You ever had a pea shiver? That's what it was.
A piver. Nolan had a
That's
piver.
not something you thought you were going to hear when you came here today.
I would not have.
See what you missed last year with me not being here?
Oh my gosh.
You know, the cool thing I think with this defense, even before DJ came here, you know, I thought they had people on the outside that would be able to pressure the quarterback this year. So that's great. And then quarterback steps up in the pocket. But now you add DJ into the mix in the middle. There's not going to be anywhere to step up in the pocket.
Nope.
And if you know, pressure up the middle is awful for any quarterback.
Yep.
And so, you know, I think that's going to be. And you know, Chad said it the first time I talked to him. He said that this kid he's a difference maker in the defense. He makes
They'll move him
everybody else
around, you
better.
think?
I think so. I think
lot,
he can
yeah.
play outside. So
That's
you're not
that's
going to
a-
be able to game plan.
Yeah.
That's a total.
Well, and
X factor.
Kittles, is this number 50, Kittles?
The other
believe
tackle.
The other tackle.
Yeah, it is 50. I think.
Who played very well last year.
Yeah.
You know, he's coming back. And so,
He's going to have some
He's
opportunities.
a bit of a beast himself.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the NFL size or
Yeah.
whatever, but or
NFL,
D1 size.
Boy, that was a big jump.
Boy,
Let's go
yeah,
NFL. Let's get
you're
into
already getting
college
up there,
first.
man.
This ain't the
I have
NBA.
high expectations. You know?
But yeah, because you know, Hicks is going to get double teamed, and that just opens it up for kills or linebacker to come.
We have sound effect, man.
Dude, I gotta admit, I'm
Nolan's on
excited.
fire, man.
I'm excited. It's been a few years. I'm excited.
No, this will be fun. So look forward to Friday night, 7 o'clock. I got to get used to that.
Yeah.
7:30. 7 o'clock, Eagle Stadium. Tom Landry Classic Year 21.
Year 21.
There's going to be Kids Zone this year.
Yeah.
It's called,
Touchdown Club is sponsoring it.
Yeah, it's not called Kids Zone, but
a Fun Zone or whatever.
Fun Zone.
Yeah.
And then our tent's the adult zone.
Yes, sir.
Although you don't have to act like an adult if you're in it. So
No, that's true.
that'll
And
start.
we don't.
5:30 on Friday night is when that Fun Zone starts.
We'll be there a little earlier than that. Yeah, quite a bit earlier.
Yeah.
Watch them set up.
Yeah, we might help them. So,
We'll just direct
Saturday
traffic.
night,
Yeah.
you have defending state champion Argyle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought they won last year.
And Nolan Classic.
Nolan Catholic.
Yeah.
Which David asked me.
Yeah, I was kind of,
How good is
that was
Nolan
kind of a
Catholic?
bizarre
I'm like,
one
I
there.
have no idea.
But
Yeah, so they're, I mean, when I first pulled them into it, last year they had two of the top 22 running backs in the state. Both of them have transferred out, but they got two that transferred in that are really good. What Nolan has done over there is they rate the Arlington and Fort Worth schools of all the good players, and they've got two defensive linemen
Typically do.
that are legit. You're talking about Oklahoma offers, Alabama offers.
Okay.
These guys are big time legit.
You're making me want to buy a ticket and come watch the game.
Yeah, it's going to be a great challenge for Argyle right out of the box because Nolan. They can play. They've gotten a lot of talent assembled over there, and they're big. And I set their roster the other day, and I was inputting that for our printer for the program. And their linebackers are all 6'3", 225, 6'3", 230.
That'd be
Put them with
nice.
those, with those defensive linemen that they've got, big offensive line, dual threat quarterback. And Argyle's ridiculously good too, and they got their DJ Hicks moved in.
Mm-hmm.
They got a move in defensive tackle / end that's going committed A&M, Surratt. He's going to be, I don't know if a difference maker for them because they just won state, but he's going to make them that much better.
How much returning talent do they have coming off that state year?
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
Lost the quarterback, but they've got a quarterback that moved in, and another one that was there that was really good. Their offensive line, they've got two Big 12
No one's yelling
kids.
at them saying that they're recruiting, are they?
They're.
You mean Big 6 kids?
They're good.
The Big 12 is falling
Remember
like
Todd Van
flies.
Poppel? That his son plays defensive line for them. He's big, 6'5", 260.
That's impressive.
They're legit as well. So Saturday night game will be a great one as well. And again, it's like always. The more people that come out, the more scholarships we give. We pay our bills and we give scholarships. That's what we do. That's what we've done. 1.2 million, and so let me just encourage people to come out and bring your friends and bring your extended family, bring your coworkers, bring whoever you can, because all that money's going right back into the community, right back to the kids, and
it's kids that participate in the event, right?
Yeah, but so there's been a little evolution through the years. The first 2 years we did it, the executive director was not the smartest guy in the world. It was football players. You played football, and you had a chance to get a scholarship. And at the week after, in year 2, I had a cheer director call me, and she's like, "Why can't my cheerleaders apply for this?" I don't have a good answer for that. She goes, "Well, they should be able to. They participated in the event as well." I'm like, "You're right." And she's like, "Well, I wouldn't band or drill." I'm like, "I know, I get it. You're right." You don't
have to list everybody, right?
I get it. Well, so then we move it over here, and Kyle Junton that does, his kids run all the audio visual. He said, "Can one of my kids apply for a scholarship? Because she's out here, with the camera." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't see why not. Yeah." And then Argyle was in it that year, and I had Argyle. I said, "We've got one of our student reporters that's covered the Landry Classic both years. Could she apply?" I'm like, "Yeah." And so, the student managers, the student trainers. I even had kid that's just in the Allen student section one year apply, and I considered it, and if
Can I?
we had, so yeah, I mean,
we'll do a group one.
I mean, yeah, so you get to the point where it's like, why not? Because if you're involved in the event at all, I'm thinking it just goes back into the community and back for kids, and there's been. Through the years, I had Highland Park in this for a long time because we've held it at Ford Stadium, so it just made sense to have Highland Park in it.
Sure.
And then in most of those years, Allen was in it too, and I would get people calling me from time to time saying, it's ridiculous to give scholarships to Highland Park kids and kids in Allen. I mean, they've got plenty of money, why not get South Oak Cliff involved in this? And I said it then, but I didn't realize how true it was till now when I've just had one graduate and I've still got one in college. But, college is so expensive today, not necessarily just the tuition and books, but it's all the ancillary things. Everybody can use scholarship dollars today. Yep. But through the years, I get the backstory on kids that are applying for these.
Right, sure.
And, it's an old adage that you never know what somebody's going through. Well, you never know what somebody's going through until you start reading. And I had a young lady a few years ago. Her dad had passed away when she was 4, I think. And her mom had inoperable brain tumor. And her mom passed away, I think, 3 weeks after the scholarship banquet.
Wow.
It was her last thing to be out of, before she went into hospice. She came to the banquet. And so this girl was left with no one. And one of the cool things is one of my corporate partners I told this to, they said, well, find out how much college costs for her, and we're going to take care of that.
That's cool.
And above and beyond the scholarship.
Yeah.
And, I read it at our scholarship banquet every year. And you guys should come to that this year. I'm going to invite all you guys. But I'd love to see it.
We'd love to.
But I read this letter every year because it's the best.
Yeah, I do.
Oh my God! Sorry. Keep going, Kris.
Sorry.
No, you're good. It's the best illustration of this.
You wear long pants or
button-up shirt? I have a jacket that goes with these shorts.
There you go.
I believe it.
There you go.
Wow. Our table's in the corner.
With a taco hat.
The back
You're in the back corner of the kitchen. You're out there in the hallway.
Randy White was our guest speaker one year, and he called me like an hour before, and he said, I forgot I'm speaking at your banquet tonight. And he said, but I'm over here at North Park. And I said, well, that's where it's at. It's at Maggiano's here. He said, okay, but I'm not dressed for it. I said, well, what are you wearing? He's like, I got shorts on. I'm like, it's okay. Come on. Everybody else is in jackets and ties. And Randy's
You're Randy White. Come on.
He's in shorts and t-shirt. But you're Randy White. It's just like, come on, nobody cared. But so every year I try to read this letter. So our second year of doing the Landry Classic, I had a coach call me and said, hey, I got a kid I'm trying to get to apply. Will you look at his application and give it some serious thought? I said, do it on all of them. He said, yeah, but he said, this isn't a kid that you're going to want to pick. And I said, well, you get arrested? He says, no. He's just not. He's like, from an academic standpoint, he's probably not a kid that you're going to put in the maybe pile. You're going to put him in the no pile. And he said, but I'm just telling you, if somebody ever gave this kid a chance, he would take it and run with it. He said, I got to get him to apply, but if I do, will you look at him? I said, I will. So I did, and I called the coach back and said, I don't know if I can do this. I said, this does not look like college material to me. He said, Kris, I'm just telling you, no one's ever given this kid a chance. He's really got a bad background. He needs a chance. Just do it. Trust me on this. He's like, I'm just asking you to trust me on this one. I'm going to do it. We'll do it. And so so when these kids get scholarships, I try to keep up with them. I try to keep up and have them say, hey, I just graduated, or I'm in year 3, whatever. Keep up with them so you can help them get internships and jobs and things like that. I always reached out to this kid, never got a reply. So I thought, okay, he probably didn't finish college, probably, just write it off as, well, maybe he still gave him a chance, maybe that helped him. So I reached out to him for like 7 years, and finally one year I get a letter that came in. He said, hey, apologize. I know you've reached out to me multiple times. Just, kind of paraphrase, he said, I just wanted you to know that the night of the banquet was the first night that my mom had been sober in years.
Wow.
And he said, I've been working since before I was really old enough to work, because I always wanted to get out of our apartment because there was a lot of strange people there every night. My mom was getting high every night. And he said but the night of the banquet, she had stayed sober all day. And she said when we were driving home, my mom said, I'm proud of you. Still makes me look. My mom said, I'm proud of you. And he said, it's the first time that she ever said that to me.
Wow.
And so he said, what I did when I got to college is I taped my scholarship letter that you guys sent me to my mirror. And he said, I never missed a class. I sat in the front row. And he said, I graduated with a 3.7 and I have a job. And I just wanted you to know that you guys changed my life, giving me that. And he said, my coach had to make me come to his office, and he sat there while he made me fill it out and send it in. He said, I knew I wasn't going to get it. I knew I wasn't college material, so I wasn't going to waste my time. And he said, he made me do it. And he said, nobody had ever really done anything for me like that. So he said, it changed my life. And so, that's, for me, like doing this event it's not an easy thing to do because it's not it's not what I do for a job. And so it's all, you do it. It takes a lot of time to put it together, and you're just like, I don't know if I'm going to do this another year. It was never the intent. The intent was to do it for 2 years, raise $10,000 in Coach Landry's name, and be done. Yeah. And we did that, and I said, I'm going to do 2 more years. And tell my wife, I'm going to do 2 more years. And it's been like 2 years ever since, and here we are at 21. But the games don't keep me coming back because they're kind of a pain in the rear to do. I love doing them once they're here, but it's not easy, and scheduling's not easy. But the scholarship banquet is just, to me, the coolest thing because we really make it about the kids all night, and just so many great stories through the years, and knowing that you help kids who didn't have a chance. We had a kid one year whose dad was an electrician and had a mishap on his job, and he almost died. He was electrocuted. And so this kid needed the scholarship money. He was going to go to trade school so that he could graduate quicker and start helping his family pay their bills. Yeah. And it's just things like that. So it's easy for me to go to people and say, hey, come to the games. Just come out here, come to the games. There's a lot of classics out there. A lot of people called us through the years wanting us to partner with them. And hey, let's blend you guys in. We're going to do a classic too. But they're all out there trying to make a bunch of money off high school kids. And so, I know what we're doing it for. So anyway, high school football to me is, I played it. I'm not great at it. I played it. I know what it can do for you and for your future. There's such value in it, and that's why I appreciate you guys so much for what you do. For not only for Alan, obviously, but just to promote the game and all the things that kind of go around it. It's the pageantry of high school football. It's all the things that go around it, and that's why it's so cool to be. That's why I loved the "We're Back" thing for the cover of our program this year. Is somebody said, well, there were games last year and you could go to them. I'm like, okay, last year was like scrimmage games. This is we're back together as a community, as communities in all these stadiums, and there's something special to that, and there's value to it, and you guys have never lost sight of that. I think you kind of keep other people realizing that there's value to coming together to cheer on a single entity, and that's really cool to me. And they do it in Cedar Hill, and they do it in Duncanville, and they do it in Highland Park, and they do it in South Lake, and I just wish our country could figure out a way to all come together and rally behind one thing.
Amen.
Whether you're Democrat, Republican, it doesn't matter. But this is cool. Friday nights are cool because everybody in the stadiums, you don't know each other. You come from different socioeconomic backgrounds and religious backgrounds, some white, some black, some brown. But when the game's kicked off, you got a massive group of people. They're cheering for that, and that's cool to me. And so I appreciate you guys so much because everybody should have this group. Really, I mean, I
don't think everybody could handle it.
Could clone you, but every team, every city should have this.
That we agree with, yeah.
This is cool. This is what high school football is all about.
Well, and this, you say that, and the one thing about us, and we talk about it all the time, is, we know there's going to come a time where, somebody's going to move away or somebody's going to die, God forbid.
We're going to the old folks' home.
Yeah, and it's going to change.
It'll be y'all before me, I can tell you that.
We tell this to football parents all the time. You're going to come, you're going to be there 2-3 years, and then you're going to move on, and they do.
Yeah.
Now, there are some very old timers now, been around a lot longer than us, and God bless those people, love them, and it's great to talk to them. But we're going to be there every year, and that's the core is what you need to make the rest of the community. It rotates around that, and it's really cool to see. And we're excited too because we sat at the scrimmage Friday night, and I looked around, I turned around, I said, "Man, it feels weird to look around this stadium and not know a person."
Yeah,
because we didn't know anybody.
Yeah. The lack of socialization and
as far as
interaction last year.
We knew one football parent there, and
Yeah.
everybody else, we just looked around, and it was just like, okay, we got a whole new crop to work with here, people.
This is happening in other places. Remember 2 years ago, McKinney Boyd, came over to us.
With McKinney.
Was it McKinney?
McKinney.
Okay, with a new stadium opening up. They came over to us and they wanted, what do y'all do and how do you do it and stuff. And we just went through and they hung out with us for that game and
I think it was
ate
the
with
cheer
us.
squad boosters and some of those.
And then they went back and implemented it at their stadium. We went to the game over there and we saw how they were all set up, and we went over there and talked with them for a while. So it's pretty cool.
But you're right, that is what makes and it's not just Friday nights, because Friday nights is the cherry on the top of the sundae at the end of the week.
Yeah.
But we talk all week long. I mean, our text chain blows up, and it's
ding 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 ding.
WhatsApp.
It's kind of like I tell a lot of people, I say, this is my hobby.
For the love of
God.
I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't go to bars. Golf takes too long, even though I love it now. But this is my hobby, as you can kind of tell by this. But it's so fun for us, and we love the change. But some people are like, oh, things are changing. We're like,
well, and when we first started out, and even before we met, we were fanatics, and we kind of started getting together, and we knew that this was something that was going to stay. It was going to be stable. We were going to go through coaches, players, player parents, but we were going to be a constant here. Go through superintendents. I mean, all of that has changed 2 or 3 times. Between coaches, superintendents, and a lot of players. And we're constant. We remember everything. We'll tell you about a 2006 game just as quick as we would a 2014 game.
And we follow coaches that leave here and go to other places. We went to San Antonio.
And show them some love.
We're going to go to Sherman in Forney this year.
I'd seen that, and I thought that was really cool when I saw it. To me, what you guys are is just the evolution of, and it's in Kenny Chesney's song, but. It's the barbershop. You used to go out on Saturday mornings, and everybody in the barbershop would talk about the game.
We need a barber's chair.
You need a barber.
Oh my gosh,
that's true.
But here's what I think.
Candy trip
needs to happen here is like tomorrow night on Channel 8's high school show. I'll be on there with a player from each team.
TV star, baby.
Yay!
Well, no.
Makeup.
There would be no makeup either, but I've thought for years, and I just need to do it. I need to talk to Joe Trahan. He should have you guys on one Sunday night for the express purpose of not only talking about what you do, so that all these other cities out there, that somebody hears it, like McKinney did. Somebody's like, we should do that. We should do that here. Because the thing I fear is I see it. My son's at Alabama with the football team there, and you go to different games, and You see it in high school here. Even the places where it used to be, Highland Park, when we used to have them in the Landry Classic at Ford Stadium, they bring 14,000 people to Ford Stadium, right? And every home game was sold out. And, when they would go and play in Rockwall, they would take over part of the Rockwall.
Right.
Well, now, what that is home game, home side's full till halftime, then people clear out.
Band parents.
I don't want to.
Let's not go there.
Let's don't go there.
Hey, I got to keep
go
the
with the
tradition.
plan.
We've gone there for years. Chris doesn't have to.
Yeah.
But, and then they go on the road, though. Nobody goes anymore. South Lake, as much as they want to build up the Dragon Nation and stuff, it's not anymore. And there's very few places where it has that hey, last person out, turn out the lights kind of thing. And when I spoke at the football banquet here a few years ago, I told everybody, I said, it's a cautionary tale. Don't let it. You got a responsibility here in Allen to keep this special thing that you've got. Don't let it dwindle like it has in so many other places. It's special here, and you guys are a big part of keeping it special here. And you talked about not knowing people at the scrimmage, and it's kind of a new crop every year. But it's hey, when your kid puts on the uniform, then you now have the responsibility as a family. You're now this. It's now your responsibility to keep it great. It's like Peyton Manning talked about in his Hall of Fame speech. He said it's our responsibility to keep this special.
Yep.
And I think people out there that go to the games and live in the community, it's now everybody's responsibility to keep it special here, so it doesn't become what Highland Park's become and what South Lake's become is hey, it's too much trouble to go to the away games, and I'll come to the first game, but wake me up when the playoffs get here.
Yeah.
I hate that. That bothers me.
When you
more than
remember
anything.
stories from the past.
We were starting to see that.
There was
little
some
waning.
complacency, but I've got a great story for you to go right along with that. And James and I sit on the same row up in the stadium, and there's a family that sits behind us that we did not know.
We've kind of adopted
the Tyndalls, and they have 2 young children, and they started sitting behind us, and it's just been interesting. It's been 2 years, I guess they've been there.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Longer
It's
than
been
that?
like
4 years.
Time's just flying.
It is, and the kids are growing up too.
Yeah, Cora and her little brother have just, we're like the uncles to them now. They can't wait to be there on Friday night, and
Right.
It's just Kyle and McKella are just great people, and they bring their kids, and again, these are young kids.
Yeah.
Cora may be going into first grade, second grade, but
I saw that.
and they've got no affiliation to Allen. I mean, I don't think either one of them went to Allen, and it's just.
Well, they lived here, and now they don't. But
Grandpa Allen.
Yeah, Grandpa Allen's been great to them, but just to see that family adopted the culture,
the creepy grandpa.
Sure.
That's what they do on Friday nights as a family now. They come there, and again, they have nobody there.
Yeah.
But
and they'll always.
We
have
try
us.
to incorporate them in what we do, and it's been really cool.
Well, and who knows? We're on the front row of the upper deck, and who knows how much entertainment the people that sit behind us get. I don't know, but we just do our thing.
Yeah.
And we're loud and boisterous, and come on. Don't sit on your hands.
FaceTime.
Yeah,
no, it's shut down. The phone's turned off. It went.
It's a really cool thing. What you've got going here.
Yeah,
Well, and part of what draws us is high school football is like the last vestige of purity. If you can't have purity in sports, and high school is where it's going to be. Once you get into the college, hopefully it's creeping in with the NIL, the name, image, likeness.
Yeah.
It's creeping in. They're getting drawn out. The top talents, and
that's coming here too. I mean, that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm doing that as much as I hate it on the college level. It's what I do for a business. So
Sure.
I'm representing college athletes now.
Sponsorships and stuff.
And I hate it. I do it, but I hate it. But all it's going to take is one of these high school kids and family, Quinn Ewers, suing.
Yeah.
And it's going to come here too, and that's going to be a sad day. And look, I know I know that kid was hurt last year and has a bunch of money to be made. But I just think at the end of the day, he quit on his team and walked out the door.
Yep.
And you can put any spin on it you want, but at the end of the day, I feel the same way about these kids that, their team's going to play in the Independence Bowl, and they're like, you know what? And I get it. I represent players, so I get you don't want to get hurt. When you sign up to play, sign up to play.
Exactly.
And you're saying, I'm with you. I'm committed. I'll do anything for you, except when I need to take care of me. Well, that's not the way you do it. I think I'm interested to see how Quinn Ewers plays in the Ohio State locker room. Don't at practice, people want to hit that kid.
Big time, especially because he's not even proven.
If I'm a D lineman,
he's a year younger than what he should be the first year at Ohio State. And
he's coming in making $1 million.
Yeah, $1 million deal right off the bat. Well, are you kidding me?
Well, and
everybody's got to learn at their own pace.
We've all talked about it. And James said it good. High school football is the last bastion of pureness. Period. I mean, I played it, and there wasn't anything better than being with your buddies out on the field.
Yeah.
When my junior year, when we made the playoffs, Richardson High School made the playoffs for the first time ever
in a long time.
It was just that feeling you got.
Yeah.
And then that last game my senior year,
you get to the point where you're realizing, and maybe some people realize it earlier in the year, but everyone is going to realize it. There's so few. I don't know what the percentages are of kids that go on to play college ball at any level, but it's very small.
Oh yeah,
1%, less than 1%.
Start to get in that funnel. All these kids playing, and then every year you lose more and more.
We got 6 or 7 from Allen in NFL right now, right?
Yeah,
it's dropped a little bit, but you brought up something I want to ask you about because this whole NIL thing going on now, and especially we talked about it a little bit last week with Jim Bob and what he thought about it. I look at that, and I know what companies are trying to do. To me, the real risk takers in that are the companies that are putting out this money, because so many of these kids are going to flame out. And not only they flame out in football, but you give an 18-year-old, 17-year-old kid $1 million, and if they don't have structure around them,
and their head screwed on right,
for disaster, in my mind. And
well, it's happened.
We're gonna see it. It's gonna happen, and it's just a matter of when.
You're seeing all these kids
but
now.
Those companies that are willing to put that out there, it's such a risk.
Look at my new car.
It is, but I think what it's going to evolve to, because I shouldn't say this because it's like being counterproductive to my business, but I'm not sure how a business owner, I'm not sure how much unless you have one of the very top kids, like if you had Trevor Lawrence last year, okay, well that can help you promote your business, having somebody like that, or a Devontae Smith, or a Najee Harris, or Justin Fields. But there's only so many of those kids. So I think what this evolves into is just a legal way for boosters to pay after you get and keep kids. But but here's the big concern I have now, because the NCAA will soon pass a 1-year legislation on you're going to be able to, for every kid that of his own volition transfers out of your program, goes into the portal, goes out of your program, you're going to have the ability to add a scholarship to make up for him up to 7 kids. Okay. And so that's going to be for 1 year while they work on writing what the concrete rule is going forward. And maybe they just adopt that going forward. But you got a guy that has no integrity like Kirby Smart. I mean, I hate Kirby Smart.
Wow.
I hate him. Boom! I hate Georgia. I hate Kirby Smart. But you take a guy like that. Now what I fear is him bringing in 6, 7 kids that aren't performing like they thought they were going to perform, and say, I don't want you in our program. You need to go.
Get on the transfer portal.
You need to get in the transfer portal because it's going to be hell for you here, and you're not going to play.
Yeah.
And then So those kids go, so he gets 7 more opportunities to bring in kids that live up to expectations there.
Right.
And I think that's bad. I think the whole booster thing. Ed Orgeron had a press conference a month ago, and he said it in his press conference. He said, "Hey, pay our athletes. Pay them. You can do that now." He said it at his press conference. Pay our athletes.
Boy, that's the whole LSU way with Will Wade and or.
Oh my God!
But I mean, for everywhere now, it's a way. In Miami they had that guy that is trying to promote his martial arts studio. So he said, "I'm giving every player on scholarship $6,000." Well, you can't. There's no return on investment for that. He just wants to pay. He just wants to be a booster and pay kids, and he can. And the NCAA, in their infinite wisdom, that they were the only ones that didn't see this coming because they were like this for years. But they should have implemented. One single entity can pay up to 3 players on a team or 4 players to keep. The NFL has that. Now, you're Campbell Soup and you want to do a deal with 20 NFL players, you can. It's a minimum of. It's a maximum of 5 for current players, but. Now the NCAA is going to have to kind of walk it back and go back and implement some new rules.
And then everybody's going to scream.
And everybody's going to scream and say, well, "Wait a minute!"
Yeah.
And because they just wouldn't deal with this until it slapped them in the face and said, "Okay, it's coming tomorrow."
That's the way the NCAA has always handled everything.
For sure.
And how much more relevant is the NCAA going to be with all these super conferences?
Well, they're not going to be.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's going to be a new governing body, if anything.
Did I hear rumors about TCU
What?
and the SEC?
No.
I read something about it yesterday. Well, maybe not, but you got to figure out, okay, what's going to happen with what's left of the Big Ten?
It's
Big 12.
What's Big 12? Yeah.
Right.
How's that going to evolve? Is there, some kind of
that's
Western?
a great question that no one knows the answer to.
No, not yet, but
Because
it's coming.
There's really not much.
It's coming. Something.
You're a Florida State guy,
I am.
so they're going to wind up in the SEC.
And he's an Arkansas guy.
I can see that happening.
Yeah.
And Clemson is talking about it's Florida State and Clemson,
Yeah.
maybe Miami.
So it's going to be 20 teams.
It's going to be a power conference.
Yeah.
And now the Pac-10, the Pac-12, the Big Ten, and the ACC, excuse me. They're talking about combining and forming a power conference as well too.
It just goes back to the rich. Just get rich.
Richer.
Yeah.
You don't think that and again, I don't know who. It'd be hard to figure out, but there's a lot of influential boosters in a lot of big places.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All you got to do is drive down I-35 to Austin.
Yeah. Well, was it how many years ago? Texas and I think Oklahoma were putting their toes in the water in the pack.
Yeah.
Just feeling them out.
Yeah. And those boosters will drive a lot of this, which is
Sure.
It's not anything I'm going to say that hadn't been going on before. It's just going to be more open now.
Well, it's wide open now.
Yeah.
Because this NIL allows it to be.
Anyhow, let's do a switch here.
Yeah, but
And
it comes back to the purity of high school. Let's keep high school.
We've got a district
open. That's gonna. Yeah,
and this district is actually, I think it's better than we thought it was going to be.
It's fun. It's good. Some teams that maybe you thought wouldn't be as competitive were competitive.
Some of the middle of the pack here, Little Elm, Denton Braswell.
Yeah. They can punch.
They can play, and they're not the punching bags. Don't take this the wrong way, Plano. That the Plano schools have been,
Yeah, do take it.
It makes it a little more competitive, and this year's no difference. I think everybody thinks it's going to come down to Prosper, Denton, Guyer, and Allen for the district title. Should be.
Yeah.
Prosper's replacing a quarterback. Allen's replacing a quarterback. Guyer's replacing a quarterback. Second year of Rodney Webb up at Guyer, which will probably make a difference, although he is breaking in a new quarterback. But they're pretty loaded.
Yeah.
Prosper's losing their quarterback, and I'm not quite sure it'll be interesting to see what they end up being.
Yeah.
But I think Little Elm is a team to watch. Braswell is a team to watch that might come up and bite one of these top 3.
And they're all very high growth, areas.
Yep.
So,
That's the key
from a demographic standpoint, they've got a burgeoning population and feeders.
Well, and to look at Allen's schedule, Allen doesn't have a cakewalk.
No.
first 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, East and Atascocita, and who else are we playing?
Cedar Hill.
Cedar Hill.
Yeah.
You know, now you do have them all at home, which is helpful. You know,
Yeah.
you got East, and then Atascocita comes back like last year with like 8 returning starters on offense.
Yep.
So
Don't write them off. Yeah.
No, they're ranked up in the
yeah,
top 10.
and then Cedar Hill replacing a quarterback,
Right.
which is always, you know, a challenge. It'll be interesting to see the smack talk this year, because if all of y'all remember last year, COVID wiped out that game. Allen had a COVID issue, and the Cedar Hill kids were just like, "You just scared, you know, you don't want to come down.
You don't want any of this."
Because we were going there last year.
Yeah.
And that
You don't want to have to stand outside the fence for a quarter trying to get in from the metal detectors.
Yeah. Can we sponsor a second metal detector?
But no, there was a lot of smack talking on that when that happened, so that'll be interesting to see. And then there's a travel game on a Thursday night, the Tyler Legacy.
Yep. That'll be fun. We need more travel. Period.
Careful what you wish
Yeah,
Well, we had the one year it was all
Longview.
travel for the
Sure.
for the playoffs and our series with Longview
Longview.
where we would travel out every other year, and that was kind of fun.
McKinney Boyd will be better this year, I think, under
Yeah.
McBride.
Yeah.
You know, second or third year for him up there.
Yeah.
So I think this district's toughening up from top to bottom. McKinney, obviously. Coach Shavers. We'll see them. We're going to go to the Sherman-McKinney game on our off week, so we'll be able to see.
You know, Melissa's another growing town out there. They're going to be, I'd say 2-3 years max, they'll be up here with us.
Yeah.
Now they're building huge complexes and stadiums and stuff up there.
Princeton.
So this district, I think, will be competitive. It'll be a little more competitive than it has been. And so the undefeated district season, which goes back to 2010, will be tough this year.
Yeah.
I think it'll be challenging for these guys. Now that being said, you've got a very good coaching staff, a very good group of kids, and a legacy that they don't want to let down ever.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think there's, Allen's going to lose a district game eventually. Allen's going to lose a home game eventually. I'm going to make those predictions there. Take that. Tell me I'm wrong.
Wow, you really went out there.
Yeah, I went out on a limb, didn't I?
You are a
But
risk taker.
that is going to happen. You just don't know when. But I think the margins have closed a little bit. These other schools have really, and I think it's a matter of them elevating. To get to a point where they can.
When those things do happen, the sky's not falling.
No.
For people to remember that.
Well, some people would think so, but
Yeah, that will be an interesting, because again, Allen loses, one game a year. It's been that way. So we always come on the next podcast and we're like, but it's not the end of the world. It's like, okay.
And that game's
you lost
typically in the
second round.
playoffs.
It is in the playoffs, and so it's
That's hard.
You've played, and you want to win it, but you get to that point, you're just like, okay, on to the next group. On to the next group.
When that first one hit, we're going to have some fun on that Allen Eagle Nation Facebook page.
Poor people, the poor coaching staff when that happens. It's going.
And again, it's like
I
we've
don't know
talked
why
about
we
it.
switch these knuckles.
It's going to happen. When it's going to happen, we don't know. But I think and I've told these guys, and I think we all feel the same way. There is a sense of freshness and excitement with this new team because of the new staff. We just got a taste of it Thursday. I can't, when the real, oh God, I can't wait. See that defense out there.
Well, and when the number ones are all playing together for an extended
period of time.
Yeah. Which you don't get in scrimmages, period.
And there's no whistle blowing when someone gets close to the quarterback.
Yeah. The quarterback goes down.
If they get close to the quarterback. But I just think, we had we told Chad about the streak, and he's like, I get it.
Yeah.
But I'm also going to say,
He didn't care.
Yeah.
And I love that.
That's
You
great.
shouldn't.
Yeah.
Well, and new staff. So what he's trying to do, he's trying to bring that community together. He's trying to open it up and get more community involvement. We're all about that. We love the community.
He's got a goal for this program, and there's going to be a bump in the road maybe to get it there. But he wants this thing to be one of the most nationally recognized programs. That's a top program year in and year out. And there's going to be some things that have to take place, and there may be a hiccup or a bump in the road every once in a while. And I'm telling you what, it's refreshing and it's exciting. And I'm looking forward
tell me we haven't been a bump in the road for some other teams that
sure.
they were on their way.
DeSoto?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To name
3 years in a row.
To name a few.
Right.
Well, and
Skyline.
the other factor, let me just say this, the other factor is the student section. The last couple of years, even with COVID, the student section, and especially with the Marine
ROTC?
JROTC, Marines, the numbers there and just the enthusiasm and the student section has been awesome. You guys gave them the player of the game.
Yeah, but they got a plaque up there from us.
Exactly.
They're in our Hall of Honor.
I have such high expectations.
Speeches ever from you.
I have such high expectations for the student section. So we'll see if
glad you're not Plano. I'd about die.
Yeah, I got it back up in the press box, our suite with our sponsors and stuff. My wife's like, why would you say that?
Because it's true.
I'm like, I don't know. It just kind of popped into my head. It's just like,
It just happened. I have to explain that to my wife all the time.
Yeah, I just kind of came
I
out.
didn't rehearse any of it, but I just said it, and I'm like, gotta own that now.
That's all right. My wife hears it all the time. She's
Yeah.
a
Yeah,
graduate
she
from
does.
Plano.
Poor thing.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
She's good with it.
she's good with it.
Oh, yeah. She's Allen all the
Yeah.
way.
Well, it was fun to do it, but I do have people that listen to this because I'm like, you said that thing about Plano. I did.
Yeah, get over it.
Hey, you got on up.
Like, sorry about that, but yeah, it's. I love the student section, and they've been great. Through the years. You're right. I mean, they've just tremendous support, and that's another thing that kind of you go to other stadiums, and that's kind of dwindled through the years because kids start to figure out there's other things to do. And when Alabama when they renovated Bryant Denny, what they had to go in and do is give kids like an area where they can mill around, but put the best Wi-Fi up there where they can still be on their phones. Because the days of just sitting down for 3.5 hours and watching the game and being entertained by the game, I don't get it, but it's not good enough anymore. It's not enough anymore.
Nope.
And there was a game on I can't, maybe it's one of the ESPN channels the other night. It was like the Fiesta Bowl with Nebraska and Miami from years and years ago.
Yeah.
Great game.
But it was a great game, but I just remember, like, I like it now. I like the playoffs because Alabama wins some. But so I like that right now.
You had to get that in there, didn't he?
I had to. But what was better was before you had any of this, and you sat down, like when your team was in the Fiesta Bowl, even if you were ranked 8th and you were playing the team that's ranked 10th, it was a big deal because you had a chance to win the Fiesta
It was a bowl
Bowl.
game. Now there's 140 of them.
Yeah,
Nobody wants to lose.
Now, if you're not one of the top 4, it's like, it doesn't matter. I kind of liked it better then.
Yeah.
Because it was a great deal. You got to a bowl game, and
You got Cowboy Stadium. You're going to watch the players. You're going to watch the big screen. And now he's boosting up the Wi-Fi so everyone can
be on their phone.
be on their phone.
It is interesting what
it's
teams
different
are doing,
times
what
now.
colleges. Like a great example, Florida State. For years, the marching Chiefs have been in the end zone.
Yeah.
Which is great. Well, this year they've moved them right in the middle of the student section. And so now
We've talked about that.
Is surrounded by the student section.
We've talked about that our band should be in the end zone down there.
And it's 50-yard line. They took 50-yard line seats away.
Yeah.
And put the students.
I agree. The band should be
Yeah.
down there.
Should be in the end zone.
Everybody can hear 'em.
Facing the field,
Well,
facing the
that's the other
student
thing.
section.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the big thing to me is if you're especially in the upper deck, not
can't
right
hear
above
'em.
them, you can't hear.
You can't hear the band.
You can't hear them in the lower deck.
Well,
If you're far enough away.
Yeah, it
Right,
depends how
because
far
you're
away
down-
you are.
Well, my seats are 106, and they're
Yeah.
you can't hear them.
Yeah, the sound doesn't go that
I mean, you hear the reverb,
Yeah.
the muffled
But that's not the
reverb
same.
across the way.
from
It's just
across,
not the
but
same.
you don't hear them.
But
The
You
best
put 'em in the end
acoustics was
zone?
Ford Stadium. I mean, it's high on both sides, so you hear our band bouncing off the.
bounced off
Yeah.
the precipice.
Yeah.
So, but anyhow, Friday night we kick it off.
Be there, be square.
We'll be there all day. Anybody listening wants to come by, we'll
Just say hi.
be chilling and grilling.
Listen to some 70s album rock music.
We might get into the 80s. We'll see how far it goes.
Maybe a little Bananarama.
You'll be there Friday night and Saturday night. 7 o'clock Saturday night too.
Yes.
For the Argyle game.
I'm your fingers.
So
That's for you,
Chris
Nolan.
said, grab your family, grab your friends, grab anybody you know.
And then come back Saturday.
That's what I was saying. And
Support the
Saturday
scholarship,
night,
support the kids.
You bet.
Just do it.
You have to do that.
Even when you're there, it's all
Yeah.
about the kids. You know,
We'll make it a
they
deal.
provide us entertainment, but it's about these kids and how hard they've been working. And
Well, I know
Come
what
up
we
to
need.
the press box.
I know
Saturday.
what we
Chris
need to
said
do.
We could come in.
There you go.
No. We need to split the Balding Eagles. 3 of us will go support Argyle. 3 of us will go support.
No.
Oh, stop it! This is for the kids.
we can do it by half. We can just
Ooh.
walk around.
That's it.
There you go.
It's an easier way to work it out than splitting this
Yeah,
up.
that's true.
Because then we'd fight for a year about, well, my team won, your team lost.
You suck.
Yeah. That'd be interesting.
Well, we always
So
say
we
that to each
appreciate
other
you
now
coming in.
anyway.
If you weren't a salesman, you'd be a plumber, my
You
friend.
have an open
I
invitation.
get to be one of the cool kids for a day.
You do.
There you go.
I
Anytime you want to
appreciate you
come.
guys.
Yeah, we've got extra spots, and we love.
Yeah, we love having
We
you
love
here.
guests.
You're always
If-
informative, and so we do appreciate you coming out and giving your insight on stuff that we don't know. You know, just like I said, I learned a lot about how to coach a secondary Friday, Thursday night
From an 8th grader.
From an 8th grader, you know?
That's
And it was awesome.
Yeah. So it's always fun to learn from people.
I mean,
so.
dude, he was literally going. He should have broken, and we were like going.
He said, "No, that was a too deep zone." You know, I said the corner didn't drop back far. No, he had the responsibility to flat, and he had a hook route coming. I was like, "Yay! My head is exploding!"
I love it.
Give a kid a few years, he'll be in the middle of the defense. Going,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
calling,
Absolutely.
He'll be the guy out
He
there.
does want to be a coach. He said that.
He'll be
He
that
did.
guy.
It was awesome.
It was great. That
But
was
I felt
awesome.
like, man, I was getting coached up.
Awesome.
So, Will, way to go. I know, he actually started listening to our podcast during,
Oh, he did?
during his
All right.
break.
Subscribe. Yeah. Yep.
Anyhow.
Now he's going to get all his friends like, you got to watch
Yeah.
this. They're talking about me.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
talking about
I'm on their podcast.
Right.
So we'll see him Friday night. They're going to come by, so we're excited about that. So Friday night, 7 o'clock, Allen versus Plano East, the 21st annual Tom Landry Classic. So
Can't wait.
until
It'll be a
then,
classic.
folks, it's over, and we're out.